Chapter 1. Early Summer. Bang! The ear-piercing sound shattered the silence as the vase broke into pieces on the patterned floor. Shards flew and cut through delicate skin, blood soaking the clean shoes and socks, turning them a glaring red. Waves of insults and shouting crashed over like rising tides, blocking the nose and mouth, suffocating. Let me tell you, Luoyanian, I don't care how good your grades are. Do you understand? What part of you looks like me? Why should I attend this idiotic parent-teacher meeting? Enough, don't hit him. How can you, a grown man, be so petty with a child? You trying to stop me? Meddling piece of crap. I'll hit you too if you piss me off. Is the school your playground? Take your family issues home. Hey, hey, hey. How can you hit someone? The last bit of oxygen in his lungs was consumed, followed by a struggle and despair close to death. The path ahead was pitch black, the depths of the sea stretching endlessly, not a single ray of light in sight. Only the swirling currents brushed past his fingertips, the cold water gradually numbing his legs, causing cramps, weakness, numbness, and finally, no feeling at all, in just a brief moment. Scenes flashed through his mind like a carousel, all personal experiences. In each one, he was the star, like a clown for people to vent their anger on, with no hope of rising. He struggled and shouted, but no one heard. Only his heavy breathing echoed in his ears. In the end, his heavy body sank, feeling a strong light penetrating the sea. He reached for the light, slowly opening his eyes to see a small, tender hand reaching into the water, creating ripples that blurred his vision. He forced his stiff limbs to swim upward again. Closer, Dot. Almost there, Dot. Just a bit faster. Seeing it within reach, he grabbed at it desperately. The small hand turned into a strong, muscular adult arm, easily grabbing his neck and lifting him out. Excess water flowed from his clothes, making him choke and cough as he surfaced. Each cough felt like it shook every blood vessel, painful beyond words. Your very birth was a mistake. The familiar, venomous voice sounded in front of him. If it weren't for you, my family wouldn't have turned out like this. The cold, sharp laughter pierced his ears. The grip on his neck tightened, aiming to kill him. Luoyanian, do you know why I gave you that name? God knows how much I wished you would just die and be done with it. You won't get away with this. He struggled, clawing at the shadow in front of him. His hands met only air, as if they were 10 meters apart. In his midnight dreams, this face was always out of reach, yet so close. One day, you and everyone who cares about you will be trapped in a quagmire, unable to call for help, dying with regret. The shadow's voice grew distant, blurred. You are a mistake. You are a mistake. You will ruin everyone. You should never have existed. He closed his eyes, forcefully bending his arms backward. Drops of water fell from his hair, creating countless ripples. As he breathed normally, he collapsed to the ground, fresh oxygen circulating in his lungs, a feeling of rebirth. The underwater currents surged, volcanic eruptions sprouting countless tentacles, dragging him into the endless dark depths. Hey. In mid-June in Taichung, the early summer heat wave hit, mixing with the semi-melted smell of asphalt. In the classroom of First High School, the air conditioning worked tirelessly, much like the cicadas outside, heralding the arrival of summer. Luo Yanian woke up abruptly from a dream, his mind still lingering in the remnants of the nightmare. A snore beside him brought him back to reality. Nearly all his classmates in Class 8 had surrendered, but the usual first to raise the white flag sat upright, drenched in cold sweat. The sight of crooked sleeping positions and the rise and fall of snores calmed his rapid heartbeat and breathing. His sweat-soaked uniform clung to his back, sticky and uncomfortable. He relaxed his eyebrows, leaning against the green and white painted wall, his pupils reflecting a detached indifference to the nightmare. He closed his eyes, gazing at the students running freely on the playground outside, a trace of warmth in his eyes. After a moment, the class bell rang. He stretched lazily, still half asleep, reaching out to grope for something on his desk, only to be startled by Luo Yanian sitting straight. Damn, you're awake? The small space of the desk left no room for stretching, but too he managed to mess up his hair into a nest. The sunlight highlighted a patch of drool on the desk. Seeing Luo's blank expression, too he waved a hand in front of his eyes. You didn't sleep or just woke up? Luo Yanian replied, just woke up. Too he noticed the sweat trickling down Luo's gaunt face. No way, I've never seen you awake before school ends, he said, scratching his messy hair. Dreamt of something I shouldn't have, Luo Yanian lowered his eyes, hiding his emotions. Naturally woke up. You should clean the desk. With people bustling in the hallway and teachers moving between classrooms, he reminded Dot. Too he looked puzzled, then glanced at the desk, grabbed a tissue from the desk in front, and wiped the surface. Still about what happened 3 months ago? Luo Yanian remained silent, nodding slightly. Too he threw the tissue into a plastic bag, not continuing the topic. Outside, a girl started chatting with some girls from Class 8, completely ignoring whether the person involved was present. I can't believe he still has the nerve to stay in this school, ruining our reputation. Yeah, his dad's a violent maniac who even hit teachers. I bet he's no better. He used to be the top student. Now all he does is sleep in class, cut classes, fight. So disgraceful. Shoo, lower your voice. Aren't you afraid he'll come after you? I heard he bullied a boy in the bathroom once. He never wakes up before school ends. Where would he hear us? Two, he quietly drew the curtains, blocking the light and plunging the classroom into semi-darkness, as if this could shut out the outside world. Don't listen to their nonsense. They don't know anything, just spreading rumors and ruining your reputation. Two, he opened the textbook for the next class. Luo Yanian said, this time they'll get their wish. This piece of rat crap is finally leaving. Is the transfer request approved? Did you submit the resubmission form? What are you going to tell your family? The exams are coming up soon. You need to get ready. Not yet. I need to see the head teacher and explain. Luo Yanian closed his eyes in the dim light, stopping Too He's barrage of questions. After class. Luo Yanian got up, ready to head to the office, when a boy at the front door called out, Mr. Fong wants Luo Yanian in his office, and quickly. Mr. Fong, their Class 8 head teacher, Fang Yiyuan, always spoke with an air of maturity. Students privately called him Old Fong. Luo Yanian was already on his way, but this call came just in time. Luo Yanian threw on his jacket and squeezed out through the back door, heading down to the 3rd floor, previously the seniors' floor. The spacious classroom was empty, the former students now fighting for their future in the college entrance exam battlefields. Luo Yanian sighed lightly, his steps quickening. He could guess why Fang Yiyuan wanted to see him. At the office door, he stepped in, feeling instantly cooler but not cold, still warmer compared to the classroom. Clean, tidy walls, neatly arranged wooden desks, and potted plants on the windowsill bathed in sunlight. The decade-old air conditioner wasn't very efficient, but suited the middle-aged teacher's preferences. In front of him sat a young man with a gentle demeanor that drew the eye, dressed in a light blue short-sleeved shirt and baggy sweatpants, exuding youthful energy, not yet 30, unlike the other older teachers. Fang Yiyuan was chatting with someone, turned to see Luo Yanian, and smiled, gesturing for him to sit. Luo Yanian pulled a chair over and slid to Fang Yiyuan's desk. The old air conditioner hummed, blending with the cicadas outside, adding to the office's tranquility. Fang Yiyuan hesitated, fiddling with the tea leaves in his mug. Luo Yanian, having something to discuss, went straight to the point. Teacher, can I delay submitting the transfer receipt by 2 days? That's actually why I wanted to see you, Fang Yiyuan said. Now that the topic was opened, he spoke more freely. The transfer has been approved. You can delay the receipt, but it must be submitted before the end of the middle school exams for the other school to register you. While the teachers regret your decision to transfer, the school leaders have signed off on it. However, because the application was late, the other school requires your exam results for admission. Luo Yanian noted the critical point. The receipt must be submitted before the exams ended. The exams are the day after tomorrow. I hope you take this seriously. The other school is less demanding, so you should be able to keep up. Submit the receipt on time. Fang Yuan's heartfelt advice fell on Luo Yannian like a feather, not quite reaching him. The other teachers in the room paid no attention, absorbed in their work. Luo Yannian wondered if he could even submit it in time. Teacher, you've helped me a lot. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. Fang Yuan frowned, worried, patting his shoulder. I'm just afraid you're too used to slacking off in school. Don't take anything seriously. He could only offer encouragement, nothing more. Luo Yannian nodded, saying no more. Fang Yuan sipped his tea, waving a hand. Go on, class is starting soon. The teenager stood, bowed slightly, and left, closing the door behind him. Fang Yuan watched him go, worry and concern in his eyes. An elderly man with graying hair leaned over, looking curious. Hey, Xiaofeng, isn't that your student Luo Yannian? He doesn't look like the rumors. He never was like the rumors, Fang Yuan muttered, snapping back. You wouldn't understand. Just focus on your lesson plans, trying to keep up with the young ones. The old man stretched. All right, we're old. Just listening to you youngsters is enough for me. Hey. Back in class, Luo Yannian buried his head in his arms, entering his daily nap mode. The school bell rang. Luo Yannian sprang up, quickly grabbed his bag, and squeezed past Tu He. Damn, why are you running so fast? Tu He, seeing his swift movements, hurriedly packed his things, still glancing back to see where Luo Yannian had gone. Turning back, Luo Yannian had vanished into the dark hallway. A round moon hung in the night sky, the incessant cicadas accompanied by a few breezes sending birds hurrying home. After a long hot day, Luo Yannian took a quick bath at a public bathhouse, threw his dirty jacket over his shoulder, and walked to his apartment complex. Looking up at the lit windows, he sighed deeply. The familiar cobblestone path seemed to sprout thorns, each step a sharp pain. The evening breeze tousled his hair as he murmured, Maybe if I walk slower, some things won't fall on me. Chapter 2. The Photo. The apartment complex was old, its architecture and decorations markedly different from the newer buildings. Everywhere were small advertisements, sewer repairs, locksmith services, covering entire walls. The dilapidated stairwell was equipped with a brand new access control system, like an old ox dragging a magical pumpkin carriage, completely out of place. Luo Yannian took out his access card, walked into the stairwell, and turned into the basement. As the wooden door creaked open, a rush of stifling heat mixed with the musty smell of old damp would hit him. In the not-so-spacious room, there was a single bed, a wooden table, and a wash basin. The neatly made bed was meticulously arranged. He threw his backpack onto the table and collapsed into the chair, his dark eyes full of helplessness and exhaustion. He whispered, I might as well sleep here forever. At least I'd have some peace. His phone buzzed with a few messages. Tu He, I've posted today's homework in the group. Remember to check it so you don't get scolded in these last few days. Exclamation point. Thanks for the heads up. Luo Yannian turned on the fan beside the bed, and the slight breeze made him feel a bit more comfortable. Tu He, no problem. Tu He, exams are coming up. Don't bother looking at the questions. It'll just show how bad you are. Tu He, even though you did well last semester, I'm worried about how much you still remembered. Exclamation point. Thanks for the concern. Tu He, is your input method broken? You only say one thing? Oh, and remember to come early tomorrow. We have to set up the exam hall. We get the afternoon off. Feeling the breeze wasn't strong enough, Luo Yannian grabbed his phone and flopped onto the bed, the fan's wind slightly more effective now. Exclamation point. We'll see. Going to sleep now. Tu He. What? It's so early. Remember to come early. Don't be late. Luo Yannian tossed his phone aside and stared at the spinning fan, trying to relax his mind. The thought of sitting in class with a bunch of strangers in 2 months made him anxious. Restless, he turned over and his gaze fell on a photo on the table, his mind drifting. The photo was encased in a delicate frame, showing 2 young children, about 5 or 6 years old, hugging each other with a snowy background. Their smiles were pure and innocent. Closing his eyes, he murmured, If you hadn't left back then, my life would probably be a lot better now. The warm night light stayed on throughout the night.
Hey,
Early the next morning. Morning sunlight streamed through the small window, casting spots of light on the floor. On the eve of the high school entrance exam, summer was no longer gentle and subtle, but gradually showing its true colors, enveloping the entire land in heat. Luo Yanian arrived at his class on time, finding only a few students there. Familiar faces of the class leader and some unnamed classmates, along with a busy He. Where is everyone? Luo Yanian asked. Tui glanced up briefly. The exam is tomorrow. The class teacher said to turn the desks upside down if nothing's left on them. Only a few didn't finish yesterday, including me. A voice from the podium called out, "We're just here to help the teacher. Don't blame us." Luo Yanian walked to his seat, turned the desk upside down, and placed the chair upside down on the desk. "Just this little work, and you called me? If you helped me, would I owe you a meal?" He stuffed his hands in his pockets and started to leave. Tui's bag was about to burst. Seeing Luo Yanian leaving, he couldn't say anything before the class leader called out, "Luo Yanian, since you're here, stay for a bit."
what?
Luo Yanian stopped, turning back. Since the incident, no one in the class, except the teacher, had spoken a word to him. Now they were asking him to do work? The class leader handed him the seating chart, glue, and photos. "Help us stick the name tags. We're really short on time. Can you do that?" Luo Yanian glanced at the stack of reports, thinking he had no choice but to take them. "Fine. Might as well do something since I'm leaving soon." Luo Yanian reluctantly took the reports. A voice behind him said, "Start from the first row on the left. Stick them on the top left corner of the desks." "I know." Luo Yanian applied glue to the back of the black and white photos, pressing them gently onto the desks. Another classmate complained, "Hey, what's with the attitude? Forget it. We're all classmates." "He knows what to do." The class leader stopped him and left with the other two. Luo Yinyan's hands, with distinct joints, pressed each photo onto the desk. When he reached his own desk, he paused, staring at the photo in his hand. Class 55. Candidate name, Chi Haowen. This person looks familiar. Even though the desk sticker was in black and white, it was clear this person had great bone structure. His side-parted bangs covered half his face, revealing an intense gaze with peach blossom-shaped eyes, a sharp look belying his youthful age, and a smirk on his thin lips, arrogant to the extreme. Luo Yinyan's brows furrowed in thought. Have I seen him somewhere before? The more he looked, the more he disliked him. Tui's packing was interrupted by Luo Yinyan's frozen movements. He hesitated, then cautiously peeked at what Luo Yanian was so engrossed in. One glance, no movement. Two glances, still no movement. Following the third time's the charm rule, Tui abandoned his work and leaned in to see what captivated Luo Yanian. Seeing the black and white photo in Luo's hand, he couldn't help but exclaim, "Whoa, this photo looks like a funeral portrait." He grabbed the photo from Luo's hand. "Is this?" Before he could see clearly, Luo snatched it back, holding Tui down with his height advantage, saying coldly, "If you tear it, we'll both be in trouble." Tui wriggled free, rubbing his messed-up hair, grumbling, "It's just a photo. Do I have to? Are you interested in this guy or something?" Luo Yanian applied glue and pressed the photo onto his desk corner. Not turning back, "I don't have such weird tastes." With his bag packed full, he dragged it to the class door, leaning against the wall. The class leader came back with two others and mopped the entire classroom thoroughly. When the five of them finished, covered in sweat, the school was empty except for those cleaning. Not a trace was left. The class leader, holding a stack of textbooks, urged the two others, "Let's go. The school gate's closing soon." He mumbled responses, heading out with his heavy bag, waiting for Luo Yanian to lock the door. Walking out the front door, he felt relieved. Having foreseen this, he had taken all his textbooks home, leaving nothing behind in the classroom. "Young Master Luo, you have an exam tomorrow. Review some middle school questions, get a sense of it." He casually handed some textbooks to Luo Yanian, who took them and walked toward the gate. Tuhi's bike wasn't on campus. The bike shed was in a dead-end alley between two teaching buildings, the farthest parking spot in the school. Unfortunately, Class 8 drew the short straw, and Tuhi's ride, a small electric bike, wasn't allowed on campus, so he parked it in an alley outside. Just as they reached the first floor, Tuhi suddenly shouted, making Luo Yanian stop in his tracks. He turned back. What? I've got a stomachache. Can you take the books to the bike first? He clutched the textbooks, his thighs tight together, looking desperate. Hurry. No need to carry my bag. Just go get the bike. Without waiting, he dumped the books on Luo Yanian and sprinted to the bathroom. Luo Yanian.
Hey,
He's electric bike was well hidden in the narrow, graffiti-covered alley, a T-shaped design making it inconvenient. The walls were plastered with ads for exam success and various tutoring classes. This used to be a thoroughfare where fights often broke out. The school decided to build a wall, separating the alley from the main road. The new cement wall's fresh color contrasted sharply with the dull surroundings. The ground was covered in colorful graffiti. As soon as Luo Yanian stepped in, he noticed a few figures lurking in the dark on the right. A blonde leader stepped forward, pointing at Luo Yanian. You're the one who snitched on our school? He recognized them. These were middle school gangsters from the nearby 6th Middle School, led by Lu Jie, a notorious troublemaker who terrorized the area, known for his vendettas. Lu Jie was infamous for his persistent bullying. Once targeted, he wouldn't let go until he had beaten you half to death. He held a high status among the local thugs until Luo Yanian upset the balance by reporting him. Lu Jie had been targeting his cousin in the 4th grade. The child came to him for help, and Luo Yanian couldn't stand by. He reported Lu Jie, who was now seeking revenge. Luo Yanian responded coldly, yes. He tossed the textbooks into the bike's basket, turning to face them. Lu Jie wasn't alone. He had 4 accomplices with him. Luo Yanian scoffed. How shameless. He cracked his knuckles. Come on then, I've been looking for you. He took out his phone and messaged Tuhi. Exclamation point. Wait for me outside the school. Lu Jie sneered. Big talk. Boss, what should we do? One lackey asked. What do you mean, what should we do? Get him. Lu Jie, infuriated, ordered. 2 of you. Flank him. 4 lackeys charged at Luo Yanian on his command.
hey,
He, clutching his stomach, emerged from the bathroom, weak and shaky, holding onto the wall for support. Shouldn't have eaten spicy hot pot with ice cream. My stomach can't handle it. He pulled out his phone, seeing a message from Luo Yanian on the lock screen. Wait for him outside the school? He stared at the message, then shuddered. Crap, he's in trouble. He grabbed his heavy bag and rushed to the alley. The sounds of grunts and cries, mixed with occasional curses, filled the alley. He arrived late, just in time to hear several thuds. His heart raced as he pressed his sweat-soaked back against the rough wall, clutching his bulging bag, and shouted, Luo Yanian, I'm here. No one can bully my brother with me around. He flung his bag into the alley. Luo Yanian straightened up, seeing the bag flying towards him. Damn. You? He was hit, sprawling on the ground. He swung at the air, hitting nothing but the rush of wind. Huh, why is it so quiet? As he was about to open his eyes, he felt someone grab his foot. Ah, damn it. He kicked, but the grip loosened. Luo Yanian pushed the bag off himself. Open your eyes. He opened his eyes slowly, embarrassment clear on his face. On the ground, for people lay in various states of agony, rolling and groaning. Lu Jie was the worst off, lying flat, defenseless. Luo Yanian stood by Lu Jie, leaning against the wall, his tall, thin frame casting a shadow. His red and white school uniform bore 2 footprints, his face bruised, a sinister smile on his lips, eyes cold and murderous. Luo Yanian wiped the blood from his lips, dusted off his clothes, and squatted by Lu Jie, holding a jade pendant. He pinched Lu Jie's face, asking softly, You haven't settled our old score. Where did you get the guts to start something? You. Lu Jie's fingers twitched. He, trembling, stepped over the bodies, joining Luo Yannian. Whoa, isn't this Lu Jie? What are you doing on the ground in this heat? He poked Lu Jie's stomach with his toda. Luo Yannian coldly said, tomorrow's the exam. No classes for middle school? Ah, Lu Jie, we've known each other a while. My buddy Luo here is the city's taekwondo champion. How did you think this would go? He leaned close to Luo Yannian, whispering, Bro, 1 against 5? You're insane. Not much better than you injuring me with your bag. Luo Yannian yanked Lu Jie up, throwing him against the wall. Next time, bring more people. Luo Yannian casually played with a short baton, flicking it to extend to a meter long. He, wide-eyed, exclaimed, Whoa, he brought a baton? No fair, Lu Jie. Lu Jie, eyes closed, was shaken awake by He. Hey, don't nap now, or you'll have nightmares. He tapped Lu Jie's head with a textbook. Lu Jie woke with a start, looking up at Luo Yannian's cold, emotionless eyes, as if they could see right through him. Trembling, Lu Jie cowered in the corner, apologizing repeatedly. Bro, forgive me. I was young and foolish. It wasn't my intention. Luo Yannian laughed softly, taking a step forward. Lu Jie covered his face, and Luo Yannian looked up at the blue sky, thoughts racing. The early summer heat lifted his damp hair, the breeze cooling his anger. Pondering over the past was just being sentimental. Before he could speak, rustling noises came from behind. A cheerful, slightly immature voice called out, Oh, haven't dealt with him yet? Thought you were with a girl, Lu Jie. Didn't expect you'd like this kind of thing?